Nigeria, new findings are exposing a growing crisis within families. Recent reports suggest that 1 in 4 men may not be the biological fathers of their children, the ones that they are raising. Once considered rare and unspoken, DNA testing is now bringing hidden truths to light, leading to broken marriages, legal disputes, and psychological trauma for both parents and children. The implications are far-reaching, touching on issues of trust, morality, and the sanctity of marriage. While health professionals warn of emotional and mental health consequences, legal experts point to custody battles and inheritance disputes as a rising concern. Joining us for this conversation is a geneticist, Dr. Abiodun Salami. He's joining us via Zoom. And we also have a family coach and marriage counselor, Samuel Oba, who joins us in the studio. Thank you very much for joining us, Mr. Oba.
It's a pleasure being here.
Salami, are you there on Zoom already?
Yes.
Okay.
It's a pleasure being here. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Good morning. So, sir, Mr. Oba, thank you so much for joining us once again. So you heard what I read in my intro. What does this kind of revelation, the 1 in 4 men being biological fathers, not being biological fathers, what does it do to families?
Okay, most times, when I see statistics like this and I see the rate at which people are commenting and lamenting on social media, I laughed. Because this is not just a problem that is starting now. It has always been there over the years. We have been trying to make government, make the populace see that there is problem here. In the past, we think London Bridge are falling down. Now it's no more London Bridge that is falling down. We have the family bridge collapsing. And everything that is of value is upon the family. So whatever happens to family happens to every aspect of the world. If you look at our parenting, we're having issues there. We're having issues with our teenagers, we're having issues with youth, we're having issues with girls, so people who does not even want to do anything that is normal within the society. So now when we now get to this point, in the past, women hardly cheat. Cheating is men's thing. But all of us will discover that over the years, if you check the statistics, the rate at which women are cheating now is about to catch up with the rate at which men are cheating.
Why do you think so?
Now I will tell you why. Naturally, women were not programmed to cheat. Women are the stabilizer of every family.
I know feminists that will disagree with you that. So are you saying men are programmed to cheat?
No, not like that. But because men are moved by what they see. So when you see a beautiful, you can use for both sexes, a beautiful man, you are not moved. But let a man see a beautiful girl passing, he will drop whatever he's doing, he will follow through. So that is one of the reasons why you see men, most of the time, they have the tendency of cheating than women. Women, when they are in love with you, they are in love with you. They can commit their heart, commit everything. But men can pretend to be in love with you and their heart is not with you.
All right, let me put you at the pause now because you believe so much in the statistics.
Yeah, sure.
Right, because we've had this argument between Banker and I saying...
No, it's the truth.
You'll get to react on that. Okay. Dr. Salami, thanks so much for joining us on the program. Can you just share your experience talking about this issue of 1 in every 4 men are not a biological father of their children?
Well, the statistics is true, sadly. In fact, based on my experience, I will actually say 1 out of every 3. Sincerely, you say 1 out of every 4 is just being modest. Over the years, I've done my own research. Though it could be biased because if you look at people coming for DNA test, there are reasons why they come. Probably they've suspected their spouses. So that statistic is a little bit biased. However, in reality, I'll give you an example. Just yesterday, Friday, I had 34 results that I released. Out of the 34 results, 14 only came positive. The remaining 20 were negative. So you can imagine, look at the statistics. And it's happening. Sadly, it has come to stay. Paternity fraud has come to stay. Because if you look at probably the financial motives of people now, the economic situation, plus the increased social interactions. Now, there's social media where people, it has come to stay. Sorry about that. It's so sad. For example, if a man comes to our center with 4 children and he comes to run a DNA test, for example, and the 4 children are his, it's an abnormal situation. It's sad that when a man with 4 children comes and those 4 children are his, it's abnormal. It shouldn't be abnormal. It should be normal. But the present situation where we find ourselves, it has become abnormal. 20 years ago, when I'm talking to people, releasing results, I feel that kind of empathy that what is happening. Today, 25 years after, when I see a child that does not belong to the father, it looks normal to me. It's so sad that something that should be abnormal is becoming a norm in the society. If a man comes and says, okay, oh yes, oh, Yoruba will say, ati iriweri. And some women are becoming bolder in a relationship that will say, okay, yes, the child is not yours, so what do you want to do about it? What do you want to do? It's sad, this we are saying.
Dr. Salami, it's sad because you are even saying 1 in every 3.
Yes.
That's quite pathetic.
Trust me. It's very pathetic.
So what is the reason behind this?
Oh, so many reasons. So many. Number one, I would say there's a stigma for infertility, for example. When women in marriage don't have children and there's pressure on the woman, things tend to happen. They tend to look for solutions elsewhere. I'll give you a story. There's a couple that have been married for probably like 10 years, no issue. They've been coming or fighting here and there. And suddenly the lady met the ex-boyfriend while they were in the university. That same month, she got pregnant. And she was happy. And the man at home was going to church and saying, oh, God has answered us. Unfortunately, when they gave birth, the children were not his. They were fighting. It became an issue. Probably the man outside was pressuring the woman that, look, I own those children. Whatever it is, they were fighting. They went to court, blah, blah, blah. The child is not yours. The court sent them for a DNA test. At the end of the day, the man at home is not the father of those children. They had the twin boys, not the father of those children. Even the man that assumed to be the father, we also discovered it was not the father. So amongst those two children, those two parents fighting over the children, both of them are not the biological parents of those children. So things happen. Sometimes there's pressure to have male children. The most important is infidelity in marriages. When we talk to men that come for DNA tests, why are you coming for DNA tests? Oh, I saw my spouse is cheating on me. She's sending her nudes to other men. Based on that, I've come to run DNA tests. And it's both ways, both male and female. If you take 10 men today and say, okay, cheat on your spouse, your wife would not know. Trust me, 9 out of every 10 will do that, will cheat on their spouse. So it's both ways. The same way women also, the same way, look, if you put a pretty woman, at least every month, 10 men will discover.
Well, Dr. Salam, let me quickly put on a pause. The figures are quite alarming. Let's come back to Obasamo. He said 1 out of 3. When we look at the statistics from the smart DNA, they give figures, different areas. In fact, Lekki is on the high side because when we look at the figure from the smart data, I have it here, it's quite worrisome. Why?
Now, the reason are enormous because when you check, the statistics is not even the original statistics. Because somebody like me, somebody like you, so many of us have not even done it. So this
exactly why I was saying that I don't believe it.
So if all of us were compelled to do it, you'll be shocked that the statistics will be so staggering that many of us will be weeping. So how do we keep it low? That's why we need to understand what led into this. Now, one of the reasons why we're having issues like this, those of us in family, like we see it happening over and over. There are many secrets we know that we can't even open our mouth to see it out. We just have to keep quiet. Now, I will tell you, one of them is non-closure of the first love. What do I mean by that? When people go into a relationship with somebody they love genuinely, and and they were not forced to end the relationship, maybe because of social class inequality, as a result of tribalism. But these are people who were two lovebirds. So you force them to quit the relationship against their wish, against their heart. Now they go their separate way. You only separate the body. You can't separate the heart. Whenever their paths still cross, they pick up the relationship from where they stopped. So most times, social media has even made it easier. So they continue to share their woes, their ordeal in the new marriage with their ID partner. The one they marry is an ordeal. That's why they are experiencing a lot of...
So where lies the sanctity of marriage at this time?
Now, when you are talking about sanctity of marriage, there are a lot of things, building blocks that need to be there before you can get to that point. Now, if you are talking about sanctity of marriage, then you need to talk about, okay, do you even know the emotional DNA of the person you got married into? That's where it starts from. Healthy marriage begins with LDU, getting married to an elderly person. Then you begin to check certain things. You check the emotional DNA. Is he a broken fellow? Is it somebody on a recovery level? Is it somebody that is battling with molestation, with childhood trauma, anger issues? Is it somebody that's already having negative financial perspective about female, that believe, oh, should I pursue my purpose and become a supporter? Or somebody that have it negatively and so, over-reliance on men, mom must supply everything.
But what is the way forward?
Now,
for families that have the paternity fraud issue?
Oh, now the thing is, we can't start building from the top. If you truly want to nip this issue in the bud, that's what we've been campaigning over the years. For the past 20 years, we've been doing this. Let's go back to the basics. If people want to choose, let's start from there. You want to choose somebody, do you even consider several things that needed to be put in place? You need to check the beliefs alignment. Do you realize that in some parts of the country, it's not a crime to cheat? In fact, you bring the person you want to marry home. I watched a video several months ago, a woman that married 2 men. In that village, it's not a crime. A woman can marry 2 men, can marry 3 men. As at that time, she has married 3. She said she's even planning to marry more. She is the breadwinner in a village in this country. I'm not even talking about some other parts of Africa. So that's why, so when you now marry somebody from that kind of clan, you expect the person to cheat because it's a normal thing. But other parts of the country doesn't believe in that. So you need to check the belief alignment of the person you want to marry. You need to check the cultural alignment of the person you want to marry. Now, when you are checking all this, you need to check the purpose, alignment of this person you want to marry. When you are checking all these things, it will help you to now zero down your mind. Okay, can I share life with this person?
A lot of things that you have said is making me think that, okay, is feminism should I say, a cause in a way of this issue or concern? Okay. Do you think feminism has played a certain role in increasing this horrible statistics?
No, I will tell you why. Part of the thing is this: when you check the global population, women are way much more than men. So now it's getting there already. Somebody, I just want to be a baby mama, just impregnated me. Once you impregnated me, I have my baby, I don't need you for anything. I can take care of this baby myself. That is one. Now, 2, another thing, we have a kind of a negative perspective to money and relationship. Feminism believes that, oh, when it comes to a man, the moment you see a man, you have seen an ATM machine. Majority of them want to make money from man. That's why they are assessing a man based on his wealth and bank account. They are not assessing him based on his purpose or calling or character. There are guys you will not even agree to marry.
The reason why I asked this question, I'm so sorry, I'm a feminist. The reason why I asked this question, because feminism, what I understand feminism to be is that it advocates for choice. And where I'm coming from this angle is that, okay, so yes, I have a husband, so I can now choose to have a baby with another man, even if I have a husband. Is that what you're saying?
No. Now, when you look at the feminism movement and every other thing they stand for, so many of the things they stand for are even part of the thing that is eroding our mutual understanding in marriages today. If you have a husband, you have the ability to choose the man you want to marry. Now, not just choosing the man, you must also understand that when you choose a man you want to marry, you must also ensure that you stay married.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
So staying married is much more challenging than even choosing a life partner. Because some feminists, well, by the time they don't get it, they don't know you have something.
Samuel, let me quickly put on a pause. We'll continue with that line of thought. But let's quickly bring in Dr. Salami. Well, there's this crave for having the ball child. That is on this data that we are reeling out, that's one of the reasons some of this paternity fraud is increasing by the day. What do you make of this?
Come again, I need to hear the question again. Come again.
Firstborn sons.
The crave for having son.
Yes, the craze for having the firstborn sons. And also, adding to his question, I want to ask, who determines the sex of a child?
Sex of the child?
Yes. Who determines it, the woman or the man?
Well, sex of the child is determined by the man. Being that for a woman bears have XX. A woman has a female X all through her life. Why a male has XY? So it's only the male that contributes the Y to make a baby boy. So if a family is not having a male child, the fault is from the man and not the woman.
Okay.
That answers that question.
No, you didn't answer my question. Yes.
Now, concerning the male children, if you look at what is happening now, you see, let's take a young lady that's in the university. Probably the parents are not well to do. Okay? So there's always a sponsor. Most of them, they call uncle. There's another man elsewhere. Probably the parents will know that man, taking care of that child, paying her university, doing everything. And eventually, when the lady gets married, okay, there's a relationship prior to the marriage. And that relationship continues even after the marriage. And the parents are aware, most of the parents are aware that, okay, my daughter is going out with this man, eventually marry somebody else. Even after that marriage, that relationship continues. That is why most times when they have a first child, it probably belongs to the other man that's been taking care of their responsibility. You understand? So that's why most firstborns, when you look at the statistics, majority of the firstborns are not fathered by their biological father because there's somebody else elsewhere. For example, a guy now meets a girl, probably the guy is on a salary of 300,000, for example, and the wig the lady is wearing is 500,000, 1,000. There's somebody taking care of that child, that lady, even before you met her. So that relationship continues. I'll give you an example of something that happened. There was a guy came to us many years ago, and we talked why he came for a DNA test. He said the person that did the chairman of their wedding, he took the wife to go and thank the person, okay? And he has been hearing stories, but he didn't really believe it. So when they went to thank, because it was that man that sponsored their wedding, so they went there to thank the man, and as they were talking, he prostrated to the man is far older than him. As we were talking, he noticed the wife forgot, Yorubas, when you are talking to your elders, you say eh. He was expecting the wife to use the pronoun, the collective pronoun of eh, but she was carried away and was using o, o, and I was wondering, this, you can't be using o for someone that is older than your father, So that suspicious came and said, there's something going on. That's the reason why I brought that child. Yeah, brought that child for a DNA test. And at the end of the day, when we did the test, the child was not his. So most relationship does not end. We see people where parents depend on their child to bring in money, pay for school fees, do everything. And they know them. And they don't end that relationship. So that's why those statistics that most times the male children, not really male, the firstborns, there's high probability that the result DNA test will always come negative for male bonds, for first child.
I know, Dr. Salami, you have a DNA center here in Lagos, but from this statistic, let me quickly read this to you. While in Lagos State accounts for a bulk of DNA testing, 65% of reports shows a shift in demand from the mainland to the island. Lekki is about 20%. Yaba 15%, Ajay Kurudu is about 10%, and Surulere Ikeja about 9%, as ranked as top testing hubs in the country. What's your reaction to this one?
Well, it's true because Lekki, Ajay, it's growing, Many of the EPs wants to be associated with Lekki. Even when you are making money, most of the social media influencers in every other state, when they come to Lagos, they move to Lekki. So there's an intent to be in Lekki. And most ladies from the university, once business moves in Lekki, business in quotes, moves in Lekki. So those kind of statistics will sure be. If you look at the most lucrative Uber routes, for example, is from Lekki to University of Lagos. That's the most lucrative. If you look at that, let me give you an example again. Now, one of the things that is driving this paternity fraud a whole lot is the movement, the craze for having baby factories. That's another thing we need to look at. One of the lucrative business is baby factories. And these people have agents from the university that recruit kids. They give them a house in Lekki, they pay for their school fees, just get pregnant, sell the baby to us. It's really happening. Sometimes, and even it's a lot of things happening to girl children in universities that we need to look at. Because most of these people, for example, now, a couple might not have children for long. Somebody tell them they have agents, okay, come to this place, come to this hospital, and they give you something, you start having signs of pregnancy. And they give them sex hormones. They don't know. They give them sex hormones. They want them not to do scans. Do you understand? And they start seeing the woman will start seeing signs of pregnancy. At the end of the day, they induce them, bring the baby from the baby factory, and swap babies. I've seen a whole lot of, this year alone, I've seen over 40 cases like that. This year alone, when people say, oh, we are pregnant, we come for maternity tests, especially when they are traveling abroad with young baby, the embassies will send them back to us.
Dr. Salami,
confirm, okay,
yeah. We'll come back to you for the way out of all of this. Let's bring in Pastor Oba this morning. Well, in all of this development, you've had him reveal a lot of experiences about this paternity fraud. Where do we go from here? I've had young people saying, I'm not even going to get married. Is that the way out?
No. That will not solve the problem. Now, one of the things we need to do, like as I was sharing the other time, now, you be more intentional about choosing a life partner. That's where I started from. Number two, even after choosing a life partner, you get to the point of ensuring that you pass through premarital counseling. Whether secular, whether religious, statistics have shown that people who passes through premarital counseling, they stay married. The larger percentage of them stay married. But unfortunately now, we have gotten to a point in this generation that we're too big to be taught, we're too big to be led, we're too big to be instructed. Somebody wants to see somebody you love today, and the following day you're already at the registry. And you tie the knot and you go. And there is no time I get to the registry, I shed tears, because I know that we're creating another bigger problem. You see people getting married within, even the people joining them, you think maybe they are in a recitation competition. You want to join, and I said, now from now till, and they join them. You won't even hear what they were saying. And you see minor signing for adults that were getting married. So this is where we have problems. So premarital counseling will help you to get to the point whereby you do singles assessment. For instance, before you get married, we do singles assessment for you. Singles assessment is to be able to open our eyes to trouble spots that may show up in the marriage tomorrow. So once we're able to discover all these trouble spots, we now focus on them. We deal with them first so that we ensure that the wholeness you is the one that will bring about a wholeness marriage. But where we have somebody who is already broken, who is battered, to be going into marriage, broken people will lead to broken marriages.
Wow. Broken people
will lead to broken marriages.
Will lead to broken marriage.
Definitely.
Let me quickly get the final thoughts from Dr. Salami. The way out in all of this.
Well, it's difficult, sincerely. It's really, really difficult because things have really changed. You know, when there's technological advancement, it comes with its own prices, and that's the price we are going to pay. We are paying. I don't want to give up, but it's going to be difficult. I really don't see a way out of paternity fraud, or it has always been there. It's just that now that people are becoming aware, it has always, paternity fraud has always been from our forefathers. It's not going to stop. I don't see a way out. It can only get worse, unfortunately. Wow. It's sad.
Many thanks for joining us on the program this morning, Dr. Salami, geneticist. Thank you so much for joining us on the program. Well, he said it will not stop. Are you optimistic that it will, or it will be reduced just in 30 seconds?
It can be reduced with a lot of awareness, with a lot of, like when we do premarital counsel, you bring people back, post-wedding counsel is there, so you keep organizing program, educating them. Some women are not even having sexual fulfillment in their marriages. Wow. So we need to get to a point whereby a woman can be free to tell us what's the problem, and a man too must be willing to step up the game. Where you need help, seek help. Our men don't.
Where you need help, seek help. Samuel Oba, married counselor and family coach. Many thanks for joining us on the program this morning.
Thank you for having me.
It's a pleasure having you on the show.
It's a pleasure being here too. Thank you.
Right, away from this issue of paternity fraud, let's move on to Rivers State. We have our correspondent, Uche Okoro, standing by to give us updates on the local government election in Rivers State. Many thanks for joining us, Uche.